Hey everyone, I got sick earlier this week, so I'm still gonna make the video obviously, but yeah, I'm sick at the moment, so I'm gonna hopefully not sneeze for the next 15 minutes, fingers crossed, but anyway, so this is Catfish Season 6, Episode 3, called Danny and Rosa. Danny is the one who wrote in, wanting to get to the bottom of what Rosa is doing. So the initial email to Nev and Max says that Danny and Rosa both live in Orlando. Apparently, both live in Orlando. Though Rosa came from Connecticut at the urging of Danny. But as per usual, they have met up. And he met her 2 years ago. He reached out to her initially, but he never got a response back until about a year later. And obviously, like I said, when they first met, she was in Connecticut, and so he got her to move down to Orlando. But whenever they would, make plans, she would literally stand him up. Or give him the runaround, and all that. So they call him on Skype. Found out he was born in Puerto Rico and relocated to Florida. I don't know how long ago, but I don't think he said. But eventually he came to Puerto Rico, or came from Puerto Rico to Florida. And red flag number one was when he told Nev and Max that he found 3 separate Facebook pages for her. The first one apparently had like 1,500 friends or 1,700 friends. Second page had significantly less. It was like not even half. It was like less than half of that 1,700 on the first page. The second page had like 100 friends or something like that, and the third page, the one that he ultimately was able to talk to and talk with and all that, has 15 friends. I have more than that, and I have like about 100 people as friends, mainly because it was like family and friends that I've actually seen in person, talked to in person, and know what they say is true. So like so basically it's like that's all. I have about 100 friends on Facebook, like if I hadn't mentioned it before. So, and all of them I've literally met in person and talked to for an extended period of time, more than like an hour. So that page with the 15 friends, even the 100 friends one, like, I mean, because literally the first 2 pages that he talked to didn't say anything back to him, but the one with the 15 friends did contact him back. So that should have told you right off the bat if those 3 pages didn't tell you anything. Anyway, we find out about the number of friends when they actually get to Orlando. But anyway, still on a Skype call, we find out that she also beat up her coworkers because they apparently were jealous of how good looking she was. That was my initial reaction. I was like, really? I am about to go to jail for someone just because they may or may not think I'm more good looking than them. Like, fuck that shit. I love my life too much on the outside, where all my freedoms are intact, to make myself go to jail and have less freedoms, because because of petty shit like that. Like, that's petty ass shit. Like, nah, I ain't about that life. I'm not about that life. So I was like, boy, really? Is like, I mean, that's not the whole I'm gonna beat your ass up because you think I'm better looking than you. Sounds like some 16-year-old girl, some 16-year-old insecure girl would do. Like, it sounds like what a hormonal teenage girl would do, not some grown woman who, I mean, well, clearly if she's a grown woman, I mean, obviously not, since we know that the person in the photos isn't actually who Danny's been talking to. But anyway, if this was if this Rosa were a real person, she have to. I feel like she would have to have some serious. Well, I just had it like a second ago. She has some insecure, like she has serious insecure feelings about herself, because otherwise that sounds like some 16-year-old high school hormonal girl thing would do. Like some like this sounds really teenagey thing, like a teenage girl would do, like, or just a teenage person would do, not just a teenage girl but a teenage person in general. Like I mean, like, cause that is some seriously extra, like, petty ass shit that, like, no grown person who has a sense of sense of self-worth would do. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. If you have any thoughts about that, please don't hesitate to comment, because I'm just like, that, okay, anyway. So, eventually, Nev and Max end up in Orlando, go to Danny's house, and they talk a little bit more about Rosa, even though they just talked about her for like the last 30 minutes or whatever. Anyway, in the Skype call, that's what I meant. Anyway, so like I said, we find out how many friends each page has. They look at the texts that they send each other. It's Spanglish. They talk Spanglish to each other. And it's basically nothing that we didn't already know through the Skype call or the email. So Nev and Max go to investigate at a local cafe, like they usually do. Ain't nothing new. So they first check the pictures, and one comes up with a profile. Comes with a profile, I think either to Instagram or Snapchat or one of those. And then the name associated with it is Natalie. They then check the phone number, and it comes with the name Yenny. They check Yenny on Danny's profile to see if he's friends with any Yenny, and there isn't. We then check the fake Rosa's profile, the one with the 15 friends, and we come to find out that there's this previous catfisher named Brandy who was on a few seasons ago, who is friends with this catfisher Rosa. So they call it Brandy because they still have her phone number after all these years. Hey, Cora. This dog. Sorry. The door opened. She came out. Sorry. Cora, what do you want? Go. Anyway. So, where was I? Oh yeah, they called Brandy up because they still have her number after all these years, like I said. And she doesn't actually know Rosa. She hasn't met Rosa in person. Though, if you don't know Rosa personally, then why the hell are you friends with her in the first place? I don't get that. So once they come up with Brandy, they think it's suspicious that a supposed former catfish is friends with the current one, and think it's a possibility Brandy is the catfish. That is not the case at all, as we see later, but that's not what they're thinking at the moment. So they go to Danny's and tell them the information they found, and after revealing the info, Nev calls Rosa. Eventually Rosa agrees to meet, and they decide to go to Connecticut the next day. Once in Connecticut, they go to Rosa's house. Rosa is actually Jose. Rosa is actually a man. So Jose explains that he knew the real person that he took the pictures from, Natalie, and trying to make her feel the same pain he felt in high school because she and a group of her friends bullied him. That's usually the case, at least in the first 2 or 3 seasons of Catfish, where a person was bullied, so they made a profile to escape, on all that stuff. So that's basically that's the old Catfish reasons. They've had different ones, newer and different ones, the last like season or two, but Um, so basically, Danny kind of is like mad, which I don't blame him for. Decides to go sit in the car after like a few minutes. And Jose tells Nev and Max after Danny leaves that he was actually abused and locked up. What he got locked up for was using drugs instead of beating people up. And I get the way it sounded is like he said that the only way he could stay on the straight and narrow from doing drugs was being Rosa, even though initially he said that the reason he did it was because she was mean to him in high school. I'm just like, okay. Anyway, the next day they go back to Jose's after leaving, and then talk. Danny is like, I advise you to take the pages down, to go past and let go of what Natalie did. And then he does a prayer for Jose in Spanish, which I thought sounded beautiful in Spanish. And before they leave, Max says once the cameras leave, it will be easy to go back to what Jose did. And Jose's like, I'm not going to do it anymore, and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, so 4 months later, Danny has kept in touch with Jose, though not recently. I don't think, like, the last few weeks, I don't think he has, and we also found out he hasn't actually gotten in contact with Natalie, the real person behind the photos. Jose, we found out Jose has gotten a new job, started working out, and started going to church. And he also met someone via his job. I would say don't mix business with pleasure, but apparently that's what he wants to do. Anyway, so that's pretty much the entire episode. I thought there were some ridiculous parts that really were like, Danny, red flag number 1, red flag number 2. Anyway, so next week, it looks like it's a woman who is a lesbian who wants to meet the woman that she thinks she's contacting. I think that's what the promo was. I only saw it once and I didn't write down what happened in the promo, but and also looks like the woman that they're trying to meet doesn't actually live in the city that she told them she lived in, so that they can go meet her. Because like on the way to the airport, she was like, she texted Max like, that's not where I actually live, I lied, and so they're gonna actually find out where she lives before they get on that plane and trek all the way the fuck over there. So anyway, I think based off of that, I think it's someone that this woman knows. Like it's literally someone she knows. And I'm gonna go even further and say it's a guy who she knows, not a girl, because I think she is a lesbian. I think she is, but I think it's a woman that the woman was talking to. So I think I'm gonna say first of all, someone she knows. Second, it's a guy that she knows, that who's in love with her or whatever. I mean, or maybe not in love with her, but just wanted to catfish her because she said something out of hand, out of context or whatever, that like hurt this person, or I don't know. Anyway, so I think that it's a guy who is catfishing her. So, and someone that she knows. So that is all I have for today. Hopefully my cold goes away by next week. Sorry if I sound like I have a cold. I don't mean to, but anyway, so and I will see you guys next week.